Do you really need that hyaluronic acid serum or castor oil to have beautiful skin? And if you are going to use it, where do you even put it in your skincare routine? What step is it? Is it first? Is it last? Is it somewhere in the middle? If you have these questions about which actives you should be using in your skincare routine and also where and how you incorporate them, this episode is for you. I'm Dr. Mary Alice Mina. Welcome to my channel, The Skin Reel, where I give real people real information and guidance so that they can make informed decisions about their skin health. Sound good? Let's get into it. This is my weekly recap episode where I break down my key takeaways from my most recent interview this week with Dr. Patel. My guest, Dr. Patel, she is not only a board certified dermatologist, Mohs surgeon, and also aesthetic dermatologist, but she also has a skincare line. So she knows she's deeply involved in what actives people need and when and where you can sort of say no to. So if you are interested in hearing the full episode with Dr. Patel, I highly recommend it. Stick around for this short episode and I'll link it at the end. Okay, so let's break down skincare actives that you really need and what you can safely ditch. And I hear you, the skincare space, the beauty space, it's really, really overwhelming. There is so much noise out there. We are always being told to buy something new. There's always something latest and greatest. And it's really hard to know, do you really need it? Is it just hype? Is it just consumerism? And when to say yes and when to say no. So if you have been following me at all, you know that I am a skin minimalist, and not because I am lazy or I don't want to spend the money or invest in healthy skin, but because I know that actually skincare can and should be pretty simple and straightforward. And what you really need to do is you have to pair your skincare needs. So, what issues do you struggle with? And you also have to pair that with your goals. Are you someone who wants to be au naturel forever? Are you someone who really wants to do everything possible for rejuvenation? Or are you somewhere in the middle? And you pair what you need with your goals, and that is your skincare habits. Those things are your skincare habits. I also know the importance of skincare, but I also know its limitations. And I don't expect a cream to do what a procedure or surgical device can accomplish. And so when I know that a cream alone can't do something, then I seek other ways to treat that issue that I have. And that's what I also recommend for my patients. But of course, a good, effective skincare routine is the basis for beautiful skin. And the non negotiables, I think every dermatologist will say this: sunscreen, SPF 30 or higher. This is so key. I tell my patients who are interested in cosmetic procedures, if you're not going to sun protect, don't do this. It's not worth it. You're going to be wasting your time and money. For people who are, if you're over 30 or 40, you can see this on your own skin. I can see that the tops of my hands have more sun damage than my face and even my neck because I've been more vigilant protecting my face. And I find that it's harder to protect my hands. I'm always washing them. So I put sunscreen on and then it gets washed off. You can also see this, maybe look at the top of your forearms, compare it to the bottom part of your arm. That's more sun protected. Or if you tend to not expose your stomach when you're at the beach or outside, take a look at your stomach and compare it to your arms and your legs. And that can give you a sense of the power of sun, because areas that are sun protected in general, like your bottom, your stomach, those areas are going to look younger and healthier in general for people who have had sun exposure. So sunscreen is number 1, 2, and 3. That also includes sun protection, sun protective clothing, hats, gloves. All of that plays such an important role. So that's number 1. Number 2 are retinols and retinoids. I'm a huge fan of these, and I really credit them to helping me not need a lot of procedures, devices, lasers, and all of that stuff for so many decades because I have been using them consistently since my 20s. Of course, I did take a pause when I had my 2 children and I was pregnant. Otherwise, I've been using them pretty consistently since my 20s. So retinols, those are the over-the-counter variety. Retinoids are prescription strength. You can get up to 0.1% in a retinol. The stronger, of course, are the prescription. So, really, I think if you can start on a retinol and then move up to a retinoid, your skin is really going to have maximum benefits. And it's a super collagen booster. It also evens out fine lines and wrinkles, helps make your skin more uniform. And it also makes doing procedures more effective. So if you are consistently on a retinol or retinoid and you then go and have something like a resurfacing laser or a chemical peel, you will have better results because you've been on that product, that vitamin A. So those are the non-negotiables. What about the nice to have? So I threw in here vitamin C. Vitamin C is getting a lot of hype recently and with good reason. It's a great adjunct to sunscreen. It doesn't replace sunscreen, but it's a powerful antioxidant. And I recommend using this in the morning, especially if you are someone prone to hyperpigmentation. It can really brighten your skin. It can help improve melasma, dark spots, and it's a great product. The trick with vitamin C is that it's very finicky and it can be very unstable. So it's important to think about how it's formulated. You can't just like rub orange juice on you. You can't just go buy any product out there. It's very sensitive to sunlight. It will degrade and it can go bad very quickly. But vitamin C is a great adjunct, and I have started incorporating it into my skincare routine for the last year and a half or so. Another ingredient that could be a nice to have if you need it is azelaic acid. And azelaic acid is something that doesn't get a ton of hype or attention. And it's sort of maybe the redheaded stepchild, but it's super powerful, especially if you're someone who struggles with rosacea or acne. I think a lot of times azelaic acid is sort of an afterthought, and we recommend it for people who are pregnant who can't use a retinoid. But azelaic acid can have benefits more than just that. So it helps with hyperpigmentation. It's naturally anti-inflammatory. It's gentle on sensitive skin. So people who have a hard time with retinols or retinoids, azelaic acid is a great option. And it does have some antibacterial properties. And so it's good for people who have rosacea or acne, where we know that certain mites and certain bacteria can worsen that. So that's a maybe if you struggle with those conditions. Another maybe active would be bakuchiol. So this one's getting a lot of hype as the safe plant alternative to retinols and retinoids. And people are saying it's safe to use in pregnancy. But the reality is we haven't really done the studies on it. We really just don't know. We think it might be, but it doesn't have the study and the data backing it like retinols and retinoids. So just a heads up on that. In my opinion, the retinols and retinoids still reign supreme if you can tolerate them. The last maybe active, in my opinion, is using a lot of these single use or single active products. All over the market now, you can see a serum for hyaluronic acid or a serum for niacinamide, and all these single active products out there. And I find that people, they hear about them. Oh, niacinamide's great, hyaluronic acid's great. And they go and they buy them. And now their skincare routine has become like 10 to 15 steps. And people are layering on so much stuff and they're layering it on in the wrong order. And it's canceling each other out. It's causing irritation and it's backfiring. So my suggestion is instead of just racing out to buy the latest, greatest product that's being buzzed about, go ahead and look at what you're actually using. And you'll probably be surprised to see that your retinol or your retinoid is already mixed with niacinamide and your moisturizer maybe already has hyaluronic acid in it. And so do you really need to go out and get a single active product? Probably not. And you want to be careful if you're having these 8 steps or 10 products. It's hard to know what to use where. So, a safe bet is to always start with the thinnest to thickest. And if you have a prescription, that's going to go on first for anything medicated, and then go with your serums, then with your moisturizers and your sunscreens. So, thinnest to thickest. But again, you probably don't need all these single active products. They're probably already incorporated into the things you're using already. So, my thought is keep it simple. You don't need to go out and buy all these extra things. Another skincare active that's getting a lot of attention recently, and I'm actually shocked it hasn't gotten more attention earlier, is estrogen cream. So, postmenopausal women have known about vaginal estrogen cream for a while now. And we have studies showing the importance in helping the skin and the genital area that becomes dry as the body loses its estrogen. And it can also cause problems with intercourse. It can cause increased bacterial infections, urinary tract infections, which can then lead to sepsis, which is actually not that uncommon in elderly patients. So we know that vaginal estrogen cream is so important and helpful for women, and studies have shown that there's actually not systemic absorption. So even if you are someone who cannot take systemic estrogen, vaginal estrogen is still an option for you. So previously, women had just been using their vaginal estrogen cream on their face or the top of their hands or their neck. But now companies are wisening up that menopausal, postmenopausal women are interested in this. And we know that our skin has a lot of estrogen receptors. And so we're seeing these products that are now being formulated specifically for skin on our face and hands and body beyond just the vaginal skin. And so this is something we need more data, we need more studies to show that it really is safe. But I think the fact that it was not systemically absorbed through mucosal skin, which absorbs stuff way more easily, I think that it's highly unlikely that you're going to have systemic absorption if you put this on your face or your hands. But of course, this is a prescription. You do want to talk with your doctor to see if it's right for you. But this is an active, estrogen that I do think we are going to be hearing and seeing a lot more of as women who are menopausal, postmenopausal are really just demanding that there is more research and studies in this population that's really been neglected for so long. So that's an exciting thing. If you are someone who is perimenopausal, menopausal, or postmenopausal, so adding estrogen seems to help with dryness of the skin. Some things that I think are overhyped and you don't need, I kind of touched on it, these single-use active products. I don't think you need them. They're already most likely in your products. I'm also really over the food as skincare. So things that you can eat in general, I wouldn't recommend putting it on your skin. Olive oil, coconut oil, these things are not formulated to be used on your skin and I think can cause more harm than good. There's some amazing oil-based products out there for hydration or occlusion or emollients and humectants. So I would say stick with those things that are formulated to be used on your skin and not things that we eat and putting it directly on your skin. I think that can cause more problems than good. I'm also over castor oil. I'm not sure why this has gotten so much hype and buzz. People are using it for everything, eyelashes, hair regrowth, all of this stuff. And I don't necessarily think it's harmful, but I think there are just much better options out there that are formulated that we have studies and data to show. So I'm not a big fan of that either. Again, I say this all the time, but your skincare should be simple. Know what your skin really needs, pair it with your skincare goals, and that should be your skincare habits. And if you have been trying to do this on your own, you've been struggling, you haven't gotten the results you want, see a board certified dermatologist who can really help save you a lot of time and money, frustration, and struggles. I see so many patients coming to me after they have spent tons of money. They've done lots of procedures or bought expensive at home devices and things, and they just aren't getting the results they want. So I would highly recommend seeing the expert, cutting out all that wasted time and money trying to DIY it yourself and see someone who can really give you some guidance and really help you with your skincare goals. If you want to hear the full episode with Dr. Patel, I highly recommend it. You can check it out here, and I will see you next week.